Yo guys, what's going on? Blobs was back. Welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now, before we get into today's video, a bunch of amazing things that I want to, announce and thank you guys for. Number one, all right, the elephant in the room. We just hit 13,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. I was pushing for 13,000 in yesterday's upload. We needed like 20 subscribers, and 20 subscribers we got. So thank you so much if you just subscribed. If you've subscribed like last year, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, the channel's been around for more than half of a decade at this point. So just really appreciate the continued support, or the new supporter, whether you're an old viewer, a new viewer, anything like that. I genuinely do appreciate it. So thank you so much for 13,000 subscribers. Now we are continuing on with this series. You guys absolutely loved part one, where I talked about basically the best super rares for a lot of the track sets. I don't want to say every single track set, but a lot of the track sets is Top Drives. You guys really enjoyed it. You found it informative. You found it helpful. And we're bringing it back, right? We're bringing it back. I mean, a lot of you guys said that it was great. And we're bringing it back with a different rarity now. We're going to be covering rares. Like I said, with the first part, with the super rare part, the game is changing. The meta is changing. Cars are moving up and down in rarities. And a lot of our meta cars that we have come accustomed to using are probably not in the same rarity anymore, and rare is, that rarity is highly affected by this, okay? When I think of some of the best rares in the game, before the rarity change, I think of things like the GMC Denali XT, the Dodge Hornet, the Plymouth Cuda. All of the cars that I've mentioned have all gone up in rarity. So things are going to change, and that's what this video is about. It's to inform you guys on the top 3 cars on many of the game's track sets. I think I've added more track sets in this part than I've did with the super rare part. So I think right now we have 85 track sets that we're going to go through, but I'll go through them super quickly. And before we get into that, one more thing I do want to shout out is Ben. He's got his 2 little Trabants while watching one of my YouTube videos as well. I think it's a what can you get from that pack video, right? I mean, that's what I remember. I don't have it right now, but you'll see it in the edits. But obviously, guys, it's a nice little, off segment I'm trying to do in my videos. So if you want to be featured on the channel, feel free to DM me on Instagram with a photo of, you watching my videos with your diecast car in front. And then, yeah, we can just showcase, your diecast collection at the same time. So with that being said, y'all, let's get into it. One thing I realized in the last part is that I don't need to turn off my camera. I don't. I actually have enough space. I think right towards my left, like right there, should be the 323 on that Citroen Visa. Anyway, let's get into it. So, City Streets Medium, top 3 cars. I mean, City Streets Medium, massive change, right? In the olden days, Dodge Hornet was your answer. But the Dodge Hornet is a super rare now. So what's the best option to use now? Ford Focus ST, 323. Second best option is the same car at 233. And your third best option is the Citroen Visa Lotus at 323. Moving on to City Streets Small. Now, this is easy because it's the same winner. Back in the olden days, now I'm saying, City Streets Small was a GMC Denali, and City Streets Medium was a Hornet. So you had to remember 2 separate cars or 2 separate track sets. But now, when it comes to rare, vanilla City Streets Medium and Small, you just need to rely on the Ford Focus ST, and you're good. So this is going to be a fantastic car to have, especially in clubs, Dragon City, City Living. If you need to use rare 5 times, that Ford Focus ST is the premier car to use. Second best option is the Volkswagen Polo GTI, and then followed by the Fiat Formula 4 as well. Now moving on to Twisty Circuit, this hasn't changed. This has always been the best Twisty Circuit car, the Dodge Demon Roadster, followed by the Mazda Speed MX-5 Miata, and the Dodge Demon Roadster at 233, coming in 3rd place. Now, if you did check on Top Drives Records what the actual best car for Twisty Circuit is, it wouldn't be a Dodge Demon. It would be the Mini E-Pace, whatever it is, the prize car. But nobody has that. People have the times for it because it was a car selected for a certain challenge, but no one actually has that car. So I'm not going to add it in here because, what's the damn point? No one's going to, it's not going to be useful information for anyone. We can't use the car anyway, at least not right now. If the winner is a prize car and it's already been awarded, I'll add it into the video. But if it hasn't been awarded, who cares? Anyway, moving on. Twisty Circuit Rolling. It's the same results. Dodge Demon Roadster. I mean, this has always been ingrained in my head that whenever I needed to use a rare Twisty Circuit rolling or standing car, it would always be the Dodge Demon Roadster. That hasn't changed with this update as well. That car is fantastic. With the MX-5 Miata coming in 3rd place. Honestly, the Demon and the Miata kind of reminds me of the Vauxhall and the Hyundai in the Super Rare video. because wherever the Vauxhall won, the Hyundai would come in third, or if the Hyundai won, the Vauxhall would come in third, and it's gonna be the same for the Demon and the MX-5, I feel. Moving on, G-Force, that's up next. We got the Opel Manta 400 Rally, best car, 233, by the way. I know that 323 is usually the more popular tune when it comes to the lower rarities, but when it comes to this one specific track set for G-Force on this one specific car, the Opel Manta 400 will be better at 233, and that's the thing that we'll be seeing a lot for the rare rarity. There are gonna be some pretty interesting tunes that are going to be the best for a specific track set. Most of it is going to be surrounding the Lotus that we'll get to in a bit. And then we're going to Ginetta coming in third place at 233 as well on that G-Force. Now moving on to G-Force Wet. Now this one is very surprising. Now, according to Top Drive's records, the Audi 80 2.2 Quattro is first. I just do not want to believe that. I really do not want to believe that. It has 77 for crying out loud. I mean, the Nissan Wingroad just looks like the way better car. The Subaru Leon looks like the way better car. Look, according to Top Drive's records, Audi 80, that's the best, okay? But take that with a grain of salt. And that's something that we'll be seeing throughout the video as well, and I'll get to more examples later, but I don't know how I feel about that one. Monaco Hairpin is up next. The Abarth 1000 TC Berlina Corsa is the best one, 323. Second best is 233, and the third best, again, Mazda MX-5 Miata. That's gonna be coming in third place a lot. It doesn't win much, but it's always in the top three. Now, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, you can't really trust everything. I mean, honestly, now in hindsight, maybe I should have tested that Audi, because I really don't think the Audi was the best. I really don't think the Audi was the best for G-Force Wet. Because what happened was that when I was going for Monaco Hairpin, right, on Top Drive's records, it said that the Ford Falcon GT was the best. And I was like, okay, that just can't be right. Like, I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that Falcon being way better. It said it was at the time of 5086. Well, I've already downvoted the time because I actually went and tested myself on my own account. And as you can see over here, the time is 5579, not 5086. So, as great of a resource Top Drive's records can be, mistakes can happen. And this is going to be my, disclaimer part of the video, right? I get my times from Top Drive's records. For the most part, they're correct. If I think that something is incredibly wrong, I might just put my own judgment into things and change it up myself. But if you want to know where I get the information from, I do get it from the website as well, which is usually trustworthy, but then you get things like this, where it's just like, yeah, you gotta just trust yourself sometimes, man. That Falcon, no. Okay, moving on. Tokyo Bridge, Abarth 1000. Okay, so again, contrasting rares to super rares, it feels like whatever the Porsche Taycan used to win, and the Taycan kind of became replaced by the Vauxhall VX220. Those kind of hybrid track sets. The Abarth is like the rare version of that car, right? I was gonna say equivalent, but I don't know how to say that word properly. But yeah, Abarth 1000 TC Berlina Corsa, 332, way to go. 323 is the second best option, followed by the Doncavort S8. Doncavort S8 gives out the same energy as that Mazda Miata. It doesn't win anything, or it doesn't win much, but it comes in third a lot of the time. Moving on, Tokyo Off-Ramp Rolling. The Alpine A110 is the best car to use. I think this is the only time you will see it in this series. And then the second and third best options are going to be the Alpine GTA at 323 and 332. Moving on to Tokyo Overpass, we have our thumbnail car of the video. Let's go. The Chevrolet Corvette C4 at drag specs. So it's going to be your option for Tokyo Overpass. Tokyo Overpass is pretty fast, I guess, but it also utilizes a little bit of handling. Alpine GTA comes in second place at 332, as well as the Aston Martin Virage. Now, one of the cars that has genuinely benefited from the most recent car rarity change is the Aston Martin Virage. When this car was first added into Top Drives during Great Exhibition, I believe, it was fantastic. It was a great car, and then it kind of just like, shuffled its way into obscurity, when new updates came around, when better rares came around the corner. But it seems like it's making a resurgence. The Virage is getting relatively useful again, especially when we get to the North Loop section of the video. Let's not forget, guys, the Aston Martin Virage has an MRA of 90. Okay, Monaco Narrow Streets is up next. Opel Manta 400 Rally 233. Best option to go, right? So I can at least think of two track sets where 233 is great. Is this one as well as the first one we looked at, which I believe was G-Force. And then Opel Manta 323, second best option. And the Abarth 500E Scorpion is third place. This car is a little bit of a sleeper, I would say, because it comes in top three, sometimes even first place on some track sets that I just couldn't believe, but I tested them and they were true. Okay, Monaco Narrow Streets long with the Abarth 1000. 1000, and then with the MX-5 in third place. Monaco Hairpin, again, is the Abarth 1000. This car is pretty damn good, man. Then we got Monaco Hairpin Wet. We got the Renault Laguna Coupe coming in at 323, and then your second and third best options is the Lotus 7 at 323, and then the Lotus again at 978. Look, if you are willing to upgrade your car in that upgrade pattern, be my guest, feel free. I don't care. I'm not going to do that. But the 978 does pay off in more than one track set. We will see that later as well. Tokyo off-ramp Lotus 7, again, is the best car at 323. Second place, the Buick. Third place, the Chrysler 200 convertible. When I think of that Chrysler 200, by the way, all I can think of is Ocean City Streets, Ocean City Streets, Ocean City Streets. And we'll get to that later on in the video as well. Like I said, we've got like 85 track sets to go through, right? So we should go through them super quickly too. Now, Buttes. BMW iX3 Premier Edition. 323 is the way to go, followed by the Lincoln MKC and the BMW again. Now, this is some pretty big stuff, right? Because these are cars that have gone down in rarity. They used to be super rares, that are now rares, and they are becoming the standard for the off-road meta now. So yeah, that's just something to consider as well. Something like Butte. These cars are going to make a huge impact over the off-road tire cars. Moving on to Canyon Butte, again, the BMW iX3. Seriously, the way that this thing performs, I don't think it deserves to be 37. It really should be 39, at least a 39. The Mitsubishi Pajero comes in second place, and the BMW again at a different tune in third place. Canyon Butte San, this is more favored towards the off-road tire cars. We've got the Chevy K1500, the Hummer H2, and the SUT, as well as the SUV. Moving on to Deals Gap, the Alpine GTA V6 Turbo Le Mans is the best car that you can use. Honestly, I'm quite shocked that it beats out the Dodge Demon Roadster, because the Deals Gap is pretty twisty, but it's actually capable of doing so, which is quite impressive. The Volkswagen Scirocco comes in third place. All of their upgrade patterns, according to Top Drives Records, 323 is the way to go for Deals Gap. Moving on to the wet version of Deals Gap is the Mazda MX-5. Now, one thing that kind of surprised me was that I didn't see the Mazda MX-5 as much as I thought I would. That being said, though, it is still here. Best for Deals Gap Wet so far. 323 is the best, 233 is second best, and in third place is the W212 Mercedes-Benz E220. That's nice, isn't it? Moving on, Forest Road. Dodge Demon Roadster is back, obviously with the Mazda MX-5 Miata coming in behind. Is that going to be the first place in anything? I think I actually have the Mazda Speed rated first place for one track set that we will see. I forget what it was. Moving on, Car Park. We have the Ginetta G40 coming in at 323. The Opel GT, as well as the Ginetta G40 Junior, once again at 233. Moving on to Slalom, I think everyone knows this already, is the Renault Twizy F1. 323 is the way to go, 233 second best, and if you can't use a Renault Twizy, then the second best option in terms of just cars would be the Ginetta G40 Junior, coming in at 323. Moving on to Twisty Road, we got the Lotus Elan SC. This one, honestly, a little bit of a surprise. I thought that Twisty Road, I thought the best car would be the Opel Manta, but it isn't the Opel Manta, it's the Lotus Elan SC. So there you go. A car that also used to be super rare back in the day that has gone down to rare, and it should stay there, please. It's not that overpowered, but it's a good one. It's a good car. Lotus Elan, first place. Monster Speed, again, second place. Lotus Elan at 233 coming in third place. Moving on to Twisty Road Dirt, we have the Chevy K1500 again, followed by the Ford Kuga coming in third place. Twisty Road Gravel, we have the Kuga coming in first place, and the Kuga is going to be your premier all-surface tire rare to use from now on. I would say it wins most of the gravel stuff. This and the two Mitsubishis that you see here and the Suzuki Vitara are basically the four cars that you need for anything gravel and rare. So the Kuga, both these Mitsubishis, and the Vitara. We'll see the Vitara later as well. Hairpin Road Gravel, same thing. Kuga's the best car. The two Mitsubishis kind of switch spots in 2 and 3. Then Slalom, Kuga is the best car. Vitara second place. Mitsubishi L200 third. G-Force Gravel, same thing. Kuga first, Vitara second. L200, just the silver one this time, in third place. And then Hairpin Road Wet, we've got the Renault Laguna Coupe, followed by the Lotus Twin Cam, and, well, both of them, but coming in two different tunes, 323 as well as 978. Now, moving on to Slalom Wet, yeah. I mean, you can do what you want here, guys. I'm just sticking with my 323. But if you really want to own Slalom Wet, then yeah, go 879. Sure, have fun. If you really want to, 879 is the best way to go. 978 is the second best, and 789 is the third best. So shout out to the guy that just had the time, I guess. He just had the time and the freedom to experiment with the Lotus 7 twin cam of all cars. So there you go. Moving on, Twisty Circus up next. Mazda MX-5, best one, 323. Second best is also the MX-5 at 233. Third place is the Renault Koleos at 323. Lumbermill Twisty Circus, there you go. There you go, the Mazda Speed MX-5. After becoming second place in like, 7 different, matchups, it's finally first here. If Arsenal was a car, that would be it. It's going to prevail eventually. But yeah, the Mazda Speed MX-5 Miata, first place on the Lumbermill Twisty Circuit at 323. Slightly edging out the Dodge Demon Roadster on both respective tunes. Moving on to the Lumbermill Forest Rally. This is the off-road version. The Mitsubishi RVR is the first place, followed by the Chevrolet K1500, as well as the Mitsubishi L200. Lumbermill River Rally, same thing. Mitsubishi stays ahead, with the Chevrolet close behind. Motocross Dry goes to the Chevy, followed by both the Hummers. Motocross Dirt Wet goes to the Mercedes 280GE, followed by the K1500, as well as the Mitsubishi RVR. Now, this is one of these other ones where I was like, I don't believe it. Like, it was one of those other scenarios where I don't believe it. So I can tell you right now, my stamp of approval, I actually tested my own 280GE on a motocross dirt wet. And it's true. The time on Top Drive's records is legit. So I guess that car actually is just better. I don't know how. It's slower than a 1500 Blazer. It handles less than that, but somehow the Mercedes prevails. Moving on to Hairpin Road Snow, Mercedes-Benz stays ahead. I'm guessing maybe because it's the weight that keeps it forward. The Mitsubishi RVR is in second place, with the Fiat Panda car coming in third. North Loop Relays. Okay, so now I've got all the North Loops, and this is where the Aston Martin Virage becomes a little bit of a main character. So the Aston Martin Virage is the best car for North Loop Relay 1 for the Rares at 323, followed by the Alpine GTA and the Chevy Corvette C4. Moving on, North Loop Relay 2. Both Alpines are in the first place position, first and second place, with the Aston Martin in third. And then in North Loop Relay 3, it's again the Aston Martin Virage coming in first place, followed by the Maserati Ghibli that we're seeing for the first time, and the Maserati Ghibli SS Spider at 323 of all things. And then moving on, North Loop Relay 4 is the Alpine GTA V6, followed by a pair of Corvette C4s. The Corvette at 332 is second best, 323 is third best. Then North Loop Relay 5, which is the fastest one, or the fastest leg, is going to go to the Maserati Ghibli SS at 332, followed by the Camzen at 323, and the Ghibli SS Spider. I mean, seriously, we are going back in time. These three Maseratis, the traffic light meta, this was the meta of Italian Renaissance, right? Like, this was the meta all the way back in 2019, 2020. These were some of the best rares back in the day, and then they became redundant for a while, and now they're just back. So, I don't know, are we moving backwards? I feel like a lot of cars that we see right now that are meta were cars that were meta like 4 years ago, which is kind of interesting. We've kind of regressed, almost. We've progressed and then regressed, so we're just back to where we started. Moving on to North Loop in general, the entire shebang, we got the Aston Martin Virage first place at 332, followed by the Alpine GTA V6 Turbo Le Mans. Now, moving on to Fast Circuit, the GTA V6 is the best car to use at 332. Always confuses me on this one. I keep thinking that the 323 is the best Fast Circuit version, but actually 332 is the best Fast Circuit version. But if we move on to Fast Circuit Rolling, then 323 is the best and 332 is second best. So you really got to know where to put and where to use your Alpine GTA V6, especially if you have two separate ones with different tunes. Fast Circuit Rolling or Standing, your Corvette C4 comes in third place. Now, moving into Ocean City Streets, the Buick Grand National is the best car, followed by the Mitsubishi Magna, as well as the Holden Astra. This is very unique. These are cars that we have not seen earlier on in the video, and we're probably not going to see later on in the video as well. Ocean City Streets Wet, like I said, Chrysler 200 convertible, followed by the Honda Accord Hybrid and the Lincoln Mark 8 at 332. Moving on to City Streets Medium. Now this one's very interesting. So in first place is the Skoda Enyaq, the white one, and in third place is the Skoda Enyaq, The blue one. I mean, these two things you think are completely identical. Same top speed, same 0 to 60, same handling, same drivetrain. Why is one better than the other? Well, I went to check on Top Drive's records. There is an MRA difference between these two cars of 1. That's all. Of 1. Just to let you guys know, the Renault Koleos and the Enyaq, these two tie. So they're actually tied for second place. Now, usually when they're ties, I don't tell you when they're tied. I like to do the 1, 2, 3 method. But these two, I remember off my top of my head, they're tied. But the Skoda Enyaq is, you know, first place. Like, it's genuinely first place. Like, it does beat both the Renault and the Enyaq. So I think that's pretty interesting. City Street Small Wet. Here's a pretty big shocker as well. It's the Lincoln Mark 8. Did anybody expect that? Because I did not. But that's the best car to use. Second best option is the Chrysler 200. Third best option again is the Lincoln Mark 8 again, but drag spec this time. Moving on to Ocean Beach Slalom Wet. It's the BMW iX3 Premier Edition, followed by the Enyaq and the Audi A6 2.6. Ocean Beach Slalom Dry, the sand version, without any rain. The BMW remains the best, followed by the Lincoln MKC and the Peugeot 208 GT Premium. That's standard tires, by the way. It's beating out all the other all-surface tire options, besides the Lincoln and the BMW Premier, of course. Moving on to Rallycross Medium Dry. The BMW remains the best. Rallycross Medium Small, BMW still on the top. Rallycross Medium Wet this time. Mitsubishi L200 is the best, followed by the Blue L200, followed by the Premier Edition. Then Rallycross Medium Small Wet. It's the Premier Edition. I'm telling you, man, this BMW, this rare right here, one of the best cars that you can invest in. Honestly, if you get the thing from a price board, insta-max that. Insta-max that. It is a wonderful car to have at multiple tunes, whether it's drag spec or 323, okay? Moving on to Hill Climb Dirt, we got the Ford F-150 Tremor FX2. That's going to be the best one for 332. 323 is the second best, followed by the GMC Sierra 2500. Hill Climb Dirt Wet is going to go to the GMC Envoy, followed by your BMWs. Hill Climb Gravel, oh look, your BMWs. Hill Climb Sand, best car goes to the Ford Super Duty F450. And in third place, oh look, it's your BMW. Also, there's no drag spec tested for Hill Climb Sand. So I'm going to assume that if there was a drag spec version of the BMW Premier Edition, it might be second place. Or it might be third place with the Ford Super Duty staying in the first two spots. Maybe. Moving on to Hill Climb Snow. This is where off-road tires really matter. And the Lamborghini Cheetah is first and second place, followed by the Lamborghini LM001 at 323. Now moving on to your regular hill climb. This is your dry asphalt hill climb. Best car goes to the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. But dude, for crying out loud, second and third place, again, it's your BMW iX3 Premier Edition. This thing is a bit of a beast, honestly, on anything hybrid or drag for, you know, off-road, I guess, even dry. Quarter mile, Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, followed by the Chevy and the AC Cobra, all 332. Half mile, basically the same. The AC drops out though, Firebird comes in at 323. 1 mile, that all changes. The Maserati Ghibli comes back at 332. Firebird Trans Am at 332, and the Maserati Ghibli SS Spider. Seriously, this is exactly the same as the Meta in 2019, 2020. It's exactly the same. The Firebird being the best half and quarter mile, and then the Ghibli being the best 1 mile. Because back then, the Hemi Cuda was a super air. Right? Remember that? Because it used to have like decent handling. And then the Hemi Cuda got a handling cut, went to low at one point, went down to rare, then became medium when it was rare. Then Hutch found out it was too good. Now it's bumped back up to super rare. It's crazy. I mean, we're literally regressing. This was the drag meta for the 1 mile 4 years ago, and here we are again. Next up, I believe is Test Bowl, right? Yeah, there you go. Test Bowl Ghibli taking, you know, the first two spots. My bad. This is supposed to be a 3-2-3 Ghibli. This is a 332 Ghibli. Then we have the 322 Ghibli SS Spider coming in third place. Canyon Tour, a Barf 1000 again, first place. Second place again, same car. Third place Donkavort S8. Moving on to Canyon Tour Wet. Again, if you want to write down your notes, you can. Best option is a 323. Thank God for that. Okay, it's a tune that everyone's familiar with. Second best is gonna go 978, and third best is 879. Whoever tested, you know, those times, the 879, the 789, you got too much time on your hands, my guy. And nothing wrong with that, though. Hairpin Road. Okay, so this was a big surprise. I couldn't believe this one. Hairpin Road, apparently, the Abarth 500E is the best. followed by the Abarth 500E convertible version, and then the Ford Evos. In my head, I always thought that the Ford Evos was the best, but according to Top Drives Records, and I even took the liberty of giving you the times in the photos right here. You can look at it right at yourself if you want to, in the bottom right corner. Actually, the best car again is the electric pace setter, the E-Pace. That's what I call it, right? Pace setter, the Mini. But again, no one has that car, so it's not relevant at all right now. Moving on, Ocean Highway is going to be the Abarth once again, followed by the Donkey Ford S8, and then the Abarth at 233. Ocean Parking Lot, yeah, this was just a massive surprise. But at this point, you know, I kind of learned to stop you know, doubting the Abarth. I think this thing is truly just a little bit of a sleeper. I don't think the times are wrong anymore. I think this is genuinely the case. Like, this is actually a good car. But yeah, Ocean Parking Lot apparently is number 1 at 323, number 2 at 233, and then in third place the Lotus Elan SE at 323. Moving on, Speed Bum Half Kilometer Dodge Dart Swinger is the best car, followed by the Plymouth GTX and the Chevy Monte Carlo SS454. Moving on to Car Park Wet, we've got a Nissan Wing Road and a pair of Subaru Leon. 323 coming in second place, 233 coming in third place. Indoor karting wet, we see the Mazda MX-30 at 323, followed by the Mazda MX-5 at 323, and the Mazda MX-30 R-EV at 323 coming in third place. Moving on to Tokyo Bridge. Here again, a little bit of a surprise, I would say. The Lincoln Mark 8 is the best. So now we're thinking, what's the best? It was the best in another scenario. I think it was City Street Small Wet, if I remember correctly. So there's that. There's also Tokyo Bridge Wet, where this car is pretty decent on. At 323, Buick Volite coming in second place, and the Chevrolet Chevelle 454 coming in at third place. Tokyo Off-Ramp, we see the Lotus 7 Twin Cam in first, followed by the Buick, and then the Chrysler 200 Convertible, and then Tokyo G-Force Wet. We've got a Nissan Wing Road, that's back, Subaru Leon, and the Audi AT Quattro. So you're telling me on a regular G-Force Wet that the Quattro beats the Nissan Wing Road, but on the Tokyo G-Force, the Wing Road beats the Quattro? I don't know, man. Someone please actually answer this question for me down in the comments below. Is the Quattro actually that good on the G-Force? I regret that. That's my one regret. I did not test that car. I just trusted Top Drives Records for that one. I don't know if that car is actually first place for G-Force. Let me know down in the comments below if that truly is the best for G-Force. But for Tokyo G-Force, we know that the Wing Road is. Moving on, Mountain Tour Wet, Chevy Corvette C4, best car to use, followed by the Buick Volite, as well as the Chrysler 200 Convertible. It's nice to see a performance tire car beating out standard tire cars in their own backyard. Mountain Tour Dry, we've got the Alpine GTA at 332, followed by the Chevy Corvette ZR1, that's the first time we're seeing that one, and the Alpine GTA coming back in third place at a different configuration of 323. Moving on, and I believe this should be the last track set. I think this is the last track set. It's Forest Road Snow. Hummer H2 being the best one, slightly edging out the Chevy K5 1500, okay? I mean, the SUT is the best option, SUV second best, followed by the Chevy K 1500. There you go! If I had to narrow it down to my top 12, as I did with the Super A video, these are going to be the top 12s. Cars that you definitely must own, must own in your rare collection. Demon Roadster, Ford Focus ST, that's your, vanilla city street car. The Abarth 1000 is your, go-to hybrid rare. It wins all the weird stuff like your Tokyo Bridge and overpass and loops and stuff like that. I can't remember anymore. There's a lot to dig into. What do we see for the Fiat, the Abarth? It's the best for Ocean Highway. There you go, Ocean Highway, Canyon Tour, stuff like that. If you want to memorize it, you can. Chevy K 1500, that's always great. Alpine GTA, best for like your fast circuits, a couple of your North loops, Mountain Tour, Pontiac Firebird, fantastic car for your quarter mile, your hill climb, your half mile. The BMW iX3 Premier Edition, what a fantastic beast that thing is. Just, a winner on so many different occasions. The Abarth 500E, a little bit of a sleeper, but hairpin road standing, apparently. Janetta G40 Junior is also pretty decent for, I think the second best on the slalom, is good on the car park. Lotus Elan SE is pretty decent. Lotus 7 Twin Cam, if you need to use a standard tire one, I would say, Lotus 7 Twin Cam or a Renault Laguna Coupe. And then last but not least, the Maserati Ghibli SS rounding it up. Now, I just want to let you know, this is not like, the Blossom Choice Rares. This isn't it. There are going to be more cars, okay? We saw more cars in today's video that were the best, that didn't make it in this little collage. This is just like a nice little summary of what I've seen a lot, you know, in this, you know, comparison of track sets. Like, these are the cars that I feel like I've always seen over and over and over and over. I would say top 3, you know, of cars that I keep seeing would be the Abarth, the BMW, and the Alpine GTA, honestly. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments below if you found it super helpful. And I guess we're gonna wrap it up with ultra rares next time. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna stay safe, wash your hands, and Blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville,
Atlanta.